This listing has gotten over 600 sales in 8 months, but the crazy part is that this Etsy store is only 9 months old. So how was this new seller able to have a listing that took off and sold this many times when other people struggled to even get their first sale in their first few months? They were able to do this by choosing a proven to sell niche on Etsy. So in this video, I'll share the 5 niches that are guaranteed to sell in 2026 on Etsy. But not just the niches, I'll also share what product types each of these niches sell well in, and my top 4 tips for success in 2026 with your Etsy store, especially if you're brand new. And the last tip will help you 4x your sales without having to actually make any more listings. So make sure to stay until the end. And hello, if we haven't met before, my name is Cassiy Johnson, and this is Jack. And I've been a print on demand and Etsy seller for over 5 years. I've sold over $1 million in Etsy products with print on demand. But what I'm even more proud of is that I've helped multiple students sell over $1 million in their own stores. I've helped hundreds of students reach 1,000 sales, 2,000 sales, 5,000 sales, or even like Tracy, who just recently reached 16,500 sales in her store in her first 2 years. And I help students reach these goals in my private community, the POD roadmap, that I'll have linked down below. But without further ado, let's talk about which niche, the first one, that seller that I was talking about in the beginning of this video was selling in, that they got 600 sales on one listing in their first 8 months. And that first niche that's guaranteed to sell in 2026 is the birthday niche. Don't go anywhere if you were expecting something more secret, but trust me, it's these big, kind of like more boring, obvious niches that actually make sellers the most money. The birthday niche is such a proven niche that every year, without fail, sellers are going to be getting sales in this new niche, and new sellers, like that person I was talking about earlier, are winning. Everyone has a birthday, and selling on Etsy specifically is exactly where buyers go when they want a personalized, unique, thoughtful gift to give someone that they love. But don't expect to just make 1 design, 2 designs, 10, or even 40 designs for this niche, and all of a sudden have a thriving business that can replace your full-time income. That actually brings us to tip number 1 of 4 success tips for 2026, and that is to pick one big evergreen niche to focus on in 2026 and really build out that niche. If you're not familiar with what an evergreen niche is, that's a niche that can sell anytime throughout the year. So birthdays are a perfect example of that. But what does building out a niche actually mean or look like? So to me, what I really recommend in 2026, if you really want to succeed, is you need to actually really learn and get familiar with your niche, find out what buyers actually want, and create new and unique and really great giftable items for that niche. Now, the other 4 I'm going to share in this video are great candidates for this as well, but let's dive into what that might look like for the birthday niche. That might look like in the next 5 months, you make 25 new listings every week for the birthday niche so that you have 500 listings for the birthday niche in your store. This might look like doing 50 first birthday family matching shirt sets, since that's one of the biggest categories in the birthday niche. Then you might do 50 milestone birthday shirts for like 30th birthday, 50th, 21st, etc. Maybe you make 50 friend birthday gifts, so something super specific for someone's like best friend to give as a gift. You might make 50 listings for adult matching birthday shirts, and then another 50 for more specifically a birthday trip matching shirts. But not to say that just shirts are the only product that sells well in birthdays. Some of the other products that sell super well for birthdays are things like jewelry, candles, drinkware, and then obviously shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. And don't worry about having to write all of this down. I will have a digital download available for you that has all 5 of these niches with the top 10 sub niches that I think you should design for to build out this niche to get you started, as well as the top products that sell for each of these niches. Comment the word niche down in the comments below, and I'll send you a link to get that free download. Now, I don't think that you need to have a niche specific store and only sell one niche forever. I think you can make 500 listings for one of these evergreen niches, also throw in some different holiday designs for, say, like Valentine's Day coming up, St. Patrick's Day, and do some other things in your store. But what I've seen after researching hundreds of $100,000 Etsy stores, people making full-time income, comes is most of them have 2 or 3 main big niches that they design for, and they'll have hundreds and hundreds of designs for each one. And what I think the real reason behind that is that once you start to get some success and get some sales with a niche, you start to really better understand what customers want. You might even see different search terms that people are looking for when you're running ads, or when you see what people searched to find your listing. And if you just keep creating more designs for what people are already looking for on Etsy, and you slowly better understand what they're looking for and what can really add value to that niche, then the more successful you are going to be. And Etsy will recognize you as one of the go-to stores for that niche and will push your listings more to sellers, because they know if they just show more customers your products, more people will buy them. Now let's talk about niche number 2. Now this is the niche that got me my first 10 order day ever in my Etsy store in my 2nd or 3rd month. So this one is really close and near and dear to my heart, and this is the wedding niche. Now again, this might seem really generic, but there are so many different types of things that you can design for within the wedding niche. And again, Etsy is actually one of the absolute go-to places for customized wedding gifts. Now I'd say birthday and wedding are ones that I would really consider doing personalized options for, because that is something that people really come to Etsy for. You could get a great gift for someone on Amazon or at Walmart, but the reason why people come to Etsy is because we offer more unique products, more customizable products. So hopefully if you pick one of these 2 as your main 2 target, that you'll be open to offering more personalized products. Some of the biggest categories to sub-niche within the wedding niche are things like engagement gifts, gifts for the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom, wedding weekend gifts for all of your guests, and bridesmaids proposal gifts. But again, I'll have that digital download available for you. If you comment niche, then you can get the full list. And then some of the products that actually sell well for this one are things like obviously clothing, shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies, but ornaments are actually a really huge one, and not just at Christmas time. I sell ornaments in the wedding kind of niche area all throughout the entire year. And then tons of other products sell really well. So candles, jewelry, drinkware, blankets, and even cutting boards and charcuterie boards have been really, really popular in the last year or 2 for the wedding niche as well. And Printify, the printer that I use for my print-on-demand products, has recently come out with some really great customizable cutting boards and charcuterie boards. If you're not familiar somehow with what print-on-demand is, it's the process where you create the designs, you post them for sale, but they don't actually get printed until your customer orders it. And that's when your printer, like Printify for example, would actually print and ship all those products for you. And all the products that I'm mentioning, like drinkware, candles, cutting boards, Printify has so many different products. So if you pick one of these niches to focus on, like birthdays or weddings so far, there's so many different products. Like even hats would be a great option that you could post your designs on and end up having 500 great designs that make great gifts for people for their birthdays or their weddings, but they're all within that same niche overall that you're working on building out. This niche is again one that new sellers are winning in, and that's why I'm sharing it in this video. Like this listing, for example, is for an engagement gift or wedding gift custom cutting board. This listing is only 5 months old and has sold 700 times. But the best part is this is another brand new seller. Their store has only been open 8 months. But again, it's not just cutting boards. It's across so many different product types. Like here's another example of this Christmas ornament that is only 2 months old, but has already sold 500 times. But this is another brand new, only 8-month-old store. So don't let anyone tell you that Etsy is oversaturated or that it's too late for you. There are so many people that started in 2025 and have found success, and so many more that are watching this video right now that are gonna start in 2026 and find success as well. You just have to really put in the work. You might not get a ton of sales your first month, 2 months, 3 months, but if you stay consistent, you practice building out this niche and doing more of what works for you, then you can absolutely find success as well. Everybody's journey looks really different. Like take this student from my private community, Ashley. It took her 9 months to get her first 600 sales, but then it took her only 4 days to hit 700 sales. So just make sure you don't give up before you hit that turning point yourself. Someone asked Ashley what's working for her, and this is literally her response. She said, "What's helped the most is me sticking to the course teachings, watching the trend reports, and paying attention to which niches I do well in, following my sales. Right now, I'm focused on sub-niches in about 3 big niches." And in that time, she's made over 1,000 listings. Now let's move on to niche number 3, which is the teacher niche. Now, the teacher niche can be one of the best ones to invest in for the summertime because almost every new teacher buys new shirts for the school year. So June, July, and August can be absolutely really slow on Etsy normally unless you're selling in the right niches, which the teacher niche is one of them. But don't let that make you think that the only time to make sales with teacher shirts is the summer, because that's absolutely not true. There are reasons all throughout the year that teachers buy new shirts or that people buy teachers gifts. So coming up in the spring of 2026, we'll have Teacher Appreciation Month. In that month, you're going to see so many sales for things like candles, ornaments, and drinkware that are going to be great gifts to give teachers. One of the ones on the list in the digital download is gifts for teachers from students. In March is actually reading month, where every school really highlights and tries to get their kids to read more. So reading shirts for teachers absolutely skyrocket in sales in January and February. So that's a great one to start designing for right now. And if you're watching this right when it comes out, the 100th day of school is actually a huge niche to design for January, because a lot of schools celebrate the 100th day of school, and that's usually about January or February, depending on when the school year started. Some of the biggest products that you can sell from Printify for this niche are things like drinkware, mostly mugs and Libby glasses, shirts, as well as candles and tote bags do really, really well. Now on to niche number 4, which is the Christian niche. This is a absolutely monstrously big niche on Etsy that is super popular. Now again, I want you to mainly pick one of these to work on and build out first. So you want to pick whichever one actually resonates the most with you. If you're really religious, then this might be the perfect niche. One thing to watch out for is trademarks, because not every Bible verse can actually be sold on products. Some things are trademarked. So I will put a link down in the description to a spreadsheet that I saw someone else share online that shares which versions of the Bible are actually in the public domain and which versions of the Bible are actually trademarked. So you do want to make sure that if you're selling Bible verse items that you really understand this. But a lot of what sells in the Christian niche is just positivity, motivational, and even stuff just with crosses on it. And again, brand new sellers are winning in this niche every day. Here's an example of a Christian journal that is only 4 months old and has sold 481 times. And the best part is this store is only 4 months old. Or this Christian sweatshirt that's only 2 months old that's already sold 420 times. And this is a completely different store that happens to, again, also only be 4 months old. Some of the other Christian kind of sub-niches you can design for that are going to be on that free download are things like baptism and christening gifts, Christian friend gifts, and even more specifically, Catholic-themed gifts. And that leads us to tip number 3 for finding success in 2026, and that is not to avoid the big niches. If you find yourself looking at these bigger niches and feeling like everything's been done before and not knowing how you can actually add value or compete, then you're going to love next week's video, so make sure to subscribe, where I dive into how to stand out in a big niche. And I'll actually link that video up to watch next after it's actually been released. So if you're watching this in a couple of weeks, then it should be playing up next as soon as this video is done, and I definitely recommend watching it. Or comment your pet's name down below and I'll send you the link as soon as it's ready. And I mentioned not to avoid big niches because of the next and final niche on our list, which is number 5, relationships. So if you're not sure what I mean this is a gift that says who you are to other people, like mom, grandma, aunt, uncle, etc. A lot of people feel like this niche is overdone and that there's no space to succeed in this niche. But again, I see new sellers making sales in this niche every single day. By relationships, I don't just mean your family though. One of the biggest categories in the relationship niche is actually coworker gifts and boss gifts. Your coworker leaving for a new job gifts are actually a huge opportunity that not that many people actually design for, that some people are making huge sales in. Like take this ornament gift for your coworker who's gotten a new job. This listing's 8 months old and has sold 579 times. And again, the store is brand new. It's only 8 months old. Let's dive into our last tip on how you can 4x your sales with the same amount of listings. Tip number 4 is to make everything into group listings. So let's say, for example, you pick the wedding niche as your main focus for 2026. Instead of just making another bride mug that says bride with their custom wedding date, make it into bride and groom matching mug sets. Try generic with bride and groom with a personalized year, or even try something more custom like a funny saying on each mug that go together. Feel free to use your creativity here. If you can come up with something new and unique that other people haven't thought of before, that's where a lot of the magic can really happen. So you need to find out what customers are actually searching for and buying on the platform, but then make them something new and unique that they're going to love giving as a gift. Or example number 2, let's say you chose the relationship niche as your main focus for 2026. What if instead of just making a shirt that said grandma, you made a grandma and me matching shirt set so that grandma and their grandchild could actually match? Or example number 3, let's say you chose the teacher niche. You might sub-niche into, say, principal or the admin staff. And instead of just making a principal shirt in one listing and maybe an admin shirt in another listing, what if you make a group matching set for even Valentine's Day for the principal and the other admin squad members to all match? No matter which evergreen niche that you choose to focus on and build out your 500 listings for this year, group listings are an amazing way to get more sales for less clicks. In the beginning, it really does take a while to get enough views on your listings to get sales. But if one customer can buy 10 things from you instead of just one, then you need way less views on your listings to actually make the same amount of income as someone with maybe 4 times as much traffic as what you're getting. Now, if you're watching this when I release it, I want you to know that January and February can be some of the slowest months of the year if you haven't already started posting for them. But that's actually going to be a really good thing for you. A lot of sellers are going to get discouraged and quit in that time frame because they won't make sales. But if you push through, you focus on building out your niche, learning and doubling down on what was working for you, making more listings for the niches that sell for you, then if you've really put the time and the effort in, 9 months from now, you could be the one that's getting hundreds and hundreds of sales on just one listing. So comment down below, which evergreen niche are you going to focus on building out for 2026? And once the video's out, I'll post it up next here on how to win in a saturated niche. So make sure to watch that one next if it's out.